Very good morning and Assalamualaikum to Dr. Ali. My group is Group 8. My name is NURSYAFIQA Nadia. My friend is Diana Ali, NURUL IZZAH BADROL, NORSAFIANA and ZAINAB SHAMSULBAHRI. We will present our findings in our research and it will start by Diana to present the background of study.
Hi, my name is SITI NURDIANA binti Ali. So for our topic for this research study is the effectiveness of body language among Malay students. So what is body language and what is nonverbal communication? Body language, which is also known as a nonverbal communication, is sign, language, or gesture that describe an action to explain the certain words. It is because body language can be used and usually have been used by all of the educators to teach the lesson in the class. So the gap and the problem that we have been found here is most of the Malay students usually face difficulties in speaking English. So through the body language, the teacher can teach the Malay students to speak in the second language successfully. So this is really important as we want to see if nonverbal communication can help them to understand English more better. So moving on to the purpose of these studies. So what are the objectives? The first one is
The first objective of the study is to define the effectiveness of nonverbal communication to help improving Malay students' language learning. Okay, next.
We also want to identify the importance aspect in nonverbal communication among Malay students' perspective.
The third one is to determine the strategies that can help Malay students to improve the language learning through nonverbal communication.
Okay, the fourth one is to clarify of effectiveness of explanation to certain words method through gesture towards Malay student.
Lastly, the fifth one, which is the fifth objective, which is to verify the importance of the facial expression in delivering information through Malay students' perspectives. Moving on to the article review.
So the first article review that we have been we chose to be the main research paper is from the UITM, the understanding of nonverbal communication skills among secondary school students toward teaching and learning, which is the author Muhammad Firuz, Muhammad Shanawi and Rahman Sheikh Faizal Sheikh, which is published in the 2020. So through this research paper, we learned that the researchers want to acknowledge whether our teachers in Malaysia understand about the nonverbal communication, and they want to know what kind of method and strategies that they arrange to teach their students language.
Next, for the article review. My article is Social Signaling as a Nonverbal Behavior of Teacher in ESL Classroom Interaction by Hima Vanita K7, Nur Al-Husna Mazlan and Haslina Hashim. This study is to find out how the nonverbal behavior can shape the classroom mode and student-teacher relationship. In this study, the researcher focused on body language such as eye contact and facial expression, also gesture like simple nod to express agreement and hand gesture to indicate to turn taking toward the students. As for methodology in the research, they use quantitative and qualitative method, which is they do survey and classroom interaction recording of 2 ESL teachers. As for the result, there are pros and cons, which students are comfortable if students see teachers smiling while teaching. As for cons, students not comfortable if the teacher keeps staring and pointing at them if the students does not know the answer. Okay, next.
The third article is with the title Communication Style Towards Student by Excellent Islamic Education in Teaching Institute of Malaysia, and this research is conducted by Muhammad Nasri Abdullah and also Kamara Azmi Jasmi on 2016, and they are discussed about the communication skills should be one of skills should be expert by educators to help to deliver a knowledge between learners, between teacher and learners, and As we know, communication consists two types, which is verbal and non-verbal, and what is important to deliver a knowledge. And the researcher also highlighted that non-verbal communication is important and help to strengthen the verbal communication to deliver a knowledge to the student in teaching and learning process.
Uh,
Next.
as for article review, which is my article, that linguistic enhancing English communication skills among Malaysian primary school pupils, which is from Nur Adila Abdul Samad, Santi Mutu, and Malo Mat Yunus 2019. They are from UKM. And then their study research is about the importance of non-verbal in learning language, which is the Lucanus 2017 stated that process of socialization can be nurtured by good communication skill. So it is important to have a good communication skill to be able to understand what people are saying and learn new things. They study by using the platform that linguistic, and then the platform is where the user can use their facial expression and gesture to deliver the words. Okay, so the researcher and the teachers were implemented the technique in the classroom, which is to study how the student reaction using the non-verbal activities. As for the methodology, the researcher used both qualitative and quantitative method. And then after all the students answer your survey, they pick up a few students to interview. As the result of the study, the researcher found out that the teacher must be creative and innovative to deliver knowledge in the classroom so that can give attention to the student. And the bad part is for the gesture, not all nonverbal techniques were suitable for all type of level knowledge, such as for the beginner level student. So let's move to the next presenter.
Okay, so for the fifth article, which is personality traits and nonverbal communication skills of Malaysian TESOL trainee practitioners, from the researcher Abdul Rashid Abdul Sitra and Ainat Simah Abdullah. So the research aims to investigate the dominant personality traits of trainees practitioners and self-reported use of nonverbal communication skills. And also the personality traits of Big Five. They use the personality traits of Big Five, which include agreeableness, openness, neuroticism, consciousness, and extraversion. And they also use nonverbal communication through their questionnaire by measuring eye contact, posture, facial expression, clothing, gesture, chronomics, touch, perceivance, and paralanguage. So so they are determined to find So they determined to find how do trainee practitioners rate themselves for their own nonverbal communication skills, which is the dominant personality trait of the trainee practitioners, which of the TESOL trainees practitioners' personality traits show correlation with their nonverbal communication skills. So the methodology seeks to investigate trainee practitioners' personality traits and their nonverbal communication skills through correlation statistics. So the instrument they use are, first is the communication skills questionnaire, and second is the Big Five inventory, BFI. So they were used to third-year TESOL trainees practitioners from 4 different teachers training institutions. So the result proves that neuroticism. So the results prove that neuroticism, agreeableness, openness showed important relationship to nonverbal communication. So other than that, and lastly, the researchers recommended that the teacher to have a good communication skills and also have personality traits that can help attract students' attention in learning. So moving on to the findings.
Okay. The methodology is we using the qualitative method, which is we use the interviews session with two BTS students. They are from Management Science University, Shah Alam. And then because of the movement control order from the government, we cannot do the interview by face to face. And then we interview the students through online platform, which is the Zoom. The interview consists have 5 questions, and they have to answer all the question. Okay, let's move on to the finding.
Okay, for the first finding, we get that the non-verbal communication are more subtle and effective than verbal communication because sometimes body language are more effective and can deliver a strong message to the students. For example, not many students know the word meaning. Maybe they don't know what the English word. So the teachers can show them using hand gesture, body gesture, and facial expression. It also gives an excitement to the students when learning the language by teachers showing their body gesture like kicking or um, macam like hand gesture like scissors like that. So the learning will be meaningful for them. Next.
As for the second findings, we found that based on the interview session that we have interviewed two Malay students, MSU BTSL, they said that it is really important, the nonverbal communication really important as it transmits deeper meanings between communication without making the speaker put on too much effort on conveying the message by talking. It is like in the school context, the teacher usually prepares some activities in which the student will complete the task or activity together. But when there will be incorrect answer, the teacher will give the gesture of the facial expression to say that the answer is incorrect, such as pointing out, use eyes movement, and also body language. So for them, it is really important.
So the third finding is the strategies of non-verbal communication that could improve language learning are pointing, exaggerating, expression, and also action. As we are interviewed to interviewees, and they are said that one of our interviewees said that body language is helped to strengthen a delivering of verbal message, while the second interviewee said that, as we know, we heard always action is works more than words. So this is proof that non-verbal communication and verbal communication both is important in language learning, because both non-verbal communication is affected also as when we are teaching a student in communication skill. Body gesture, eye contact, all is important to attract them to learn the lesson with us, and also it is good in teaching and learning process.
As we know through the interview, that the body language and non-verbal help the student to memorize things better. By using the hand gesture, the student able to remember things that they learn and help them to understand the words and process the information well. Okay, the non-verbal techniques were effective in classroom learning because the teacher can point their finger towards some things to show that things as an example. But as we know that the student can give more attention towards the teachers as the teacher shows some gesture or an action by using their body and their facial. Okay.
So for the fifth findings, which is are facial expression important to deliver information? So 100% of the students also agree that the facial expression is crucial in delivering information as it helps us to communicate better and create better impressions than the ones who does not use facial expression. So from the first interviewee, she said it is important to show facial expression as it can help other people in understanding, in reaching understanding. From facial expression, from giving facial expression, a better understanding can be developed rather than the ones who does not use. Moving on to the discussion, language learning among to the stated non-verbal communication is one of important aspect in language learning as process of conveying message to other parties with involvement of body language would be enough to deliver a verbal language. Other than that, non-verbal communication also is more acceptable to be used in teaching and learning because student level of understanding is different. So some might have poor communication. So it will be fair to teach all students in the same way in order to lead to a harmonious teaching learning environment. So other than that, other hypothesis that successfully discussed was nonverbal communication consists of more types of body language, such as eye contact, lip sync, body movement, hand gesture, and action. So from nonverbal communication, this help to improve their language learning and also. So moving on to the recommendation.
Yeah, I'm going to explain about the recommendation that have suggested by us. There are three recommendations, which is the first one is conduct more study in every level of education, like early childhood, primary, secondary, and also university, to verify the communication the non-verbal communication effectiveness. The second one is to expand the study into depth as it can help and guide not only for new educators, but also the former educators to enhance and sharpen their teaching skill. Last one is improve and enhance the application of non-verbal communication in class for students, because this will help the student to achieve language learning more efficient and also successful. And moving to the conclusion.
Okay, through this study, we learned that body language in the classroom has a positive impact on students' participation in the learning process by increasing motivation and making students feel comfortable and significant. Last but not least, students' comprehension and comfort with the teacher's performance can also be interpreted through nonverbal cues. That's all from us. Thank you.